To be serious for a moment,
Yeah.
I think the next few months may be a little challenging for our country, and we'd best gird ourselves for it. This thing is not going well.
The Pentagon war planners have rightfully said that 90% of modern warfare is informational. That's why it's more important than ever that all of you watching subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter at Real Alex Jones, because InfoWars is the front line of the fight. And without your help and support, we will fail. With your support and with your prayers, we will be victorious against the globalists together.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show on this Thursday, July 27th, 2017. We had Alex Jones is going to be joining us in just a moment to talk about Al Gore's cryptic comments on the Late Late Show last night. So yet another example of somebody saying, hey, in the next few months, something's going to happen. You better get ready for something that's going to happen. So we're going to play that clip. Alex is going to break that down for you. I thought it was kind of interesting that the storm that has been triggered, as the Hill points out, Trump triggers a storm with the transgender ban. The people who are coming after him apparently the most are conservatives. What a surprise. The same GOP, the duplicitous GOP that said things like, we're going to get rid of Obamacare. I remember when they said we're going to get rid of the Department of Education right after Jimmy Carter did it. So they campaign on these things, they get elected for them, but they want the government controlling your life. We had Eric Cantor yesterday saying, well, if you got a lot of anger out there, you're going to use that to get elected. And that's precisely what they did. Now they have an opportunity to simply repeal it, to start enacting market reforms that would actually make health care more affordable, but they don't do it. And so now you've got the conservatives, as CNN's headline says, conservatives lobbied the White House for a transgender policy, but the total ban wasn't what they asked for. They're very concerned about it. And as they say, it's a growing GOP backlash. They say it's a political miscalculation. Well, who was it that made the political calculation? The Washington Post quotes John McCain. And listen to the way the Washington Post describes John McCain. War hero John McCain, the preeminent Republican voice on national security. Not the leader of the military-industrial complex. But then we have people like Orrin Hatch from conservative Utah coming out and saying, I don't think we should be discriminating against anyone. Well, let's understand the military has a mission. You don't have a right to join the military. It's not an entitlement program. There are certain conditions. As a matter of fact, I had Daria give me a book here from military.com talking about medical conditions that prevent you from joining the military. These are physical conditions. It's all kinds of things, abdominal organs and gastrointestinal systems, dental. You don't have the right kind of, got some dental problems. You can't join ears, hearing, eyes, so forth. I had a friend who went to West Point. He was kicked out at the last minute because they found a small ulcer in his stomach. So you don't have a guarantee to do that. And yet, at the same time now, we have the establishment coming after Donald Trump saying he needs to be examined, remote control by people looking at him on television in violation of the Goldwater rule. And we know why that was put in. We have an article on Infowars.com talking about that. That was put in because they came after Barry Goldwater, made outrageous claims about him that he sued them for and won. And they said it's unethical for us to diagnose people's mental conditions by watching them on television. Now you've got all the news media from NPR, CNN, and others are all saying we need to overturn that rule so we can attack President Trump. Alex Jones is joining us right now. It's not just coming after him mentally, is it, Alex? They're going to possibly have some kind of a quick event. It seems to be what Al Gore is talking about as well.
That's right, David. You're doing a fabulous job there. Leanne McAdoo is joining us in the next hour. Then you're going to be back in the third hour playing traffic cop with our interview with Spencer Pratt and Heidi Montag, getting into how reality TV is so fake and staged. That's all coming up today, David. So thank you so much. In fact, I want to come back to you just briefly in a few minutes, but I'm going to let you get back to research and preparation until you co-host in the third hour. But I do want to get your overall take about what we should do specifically dealing with the big issue that's on our plate that I'm going to get into right now. I told listeners 3 weeks ago on air that the decision had been made to kill President Trump in the next few months. That the decision had been made to violently remove him from office suddenly. And I told you when he got elected, and I told you in January when he got inaugurated, that the deep state is preparing a COG, continuity of government, smokescreen to claim he's controlled by foreign powers when they're the ones controlled by multinational foreign powers, and that they would then try to remove him, declare the last election null and void, and hold a new election run by Homeland Security and the Democrats. Now, we know all this because Obama signed an executive order to do just that. And they talked about doing it during the interim when he was president-elect before he was sworn in on January 20th there in Washington, D.C. So we've seen the media preparing the ground, preparing the mind for this. And then, starting about 3.5, 4 weeks ago, myself and many others began to get phone calls, some of them from trusted sources, inside the, quote, government, saying, look, Trump's going to get taken out. That's just the way it is, and everybody needs to just get on board with it. Even if you're a patriot, this is just the way it is. Live to fight another day, live the long game, take care of yourself, take care of your family. He's just going to be removed. And, of course, they're putting that out as a psyop to see who they can condition and scare into going along with it, thinking they're on the winning team. It's a huge psychological game. They're the ones that lost the election. They're the ones that got caught rigging the debates. They're the ones that got caught in the WikiLeaks committing all the crimes. They're the ones getting caught selling out to the communist Chinese and selling out the Panama Canal and selling out our weapon systems to China and selling out nuclear reactors to North Korea. They're the ones on every single front, in every single way, over and over and over again, that are the dishonorable globalists, that are discredited, that are hated. They're the ones with the illegal servers. They're the ones who are becoming a minority party. And I don't mean minority as in minorities. The media will spin that. I mean a minority party in only a few areas of the country, not even a real national party. So everything the Democrats had told us was going to happen to the Republicans, because the establishment had gotten them to play along with the system and sell out their values and disenfranchise their voters and try to demoralize them, is now happened to the Democrats, because the libertarian movement took over the Tea Party. We created it. They tried to take it over, but we really took them over. And now there's a civil war in the Republican Party politically for the heart and soul of the country. The Democrats are delusional, basically out to pasture. And the elites know they're in trouble. They're busy evacuating to the Cook Islands and to Tasmania and to the Australian mainland and to Kauai, Hawaii, where I'm sitting right now. And I'm literally doing an investigation of Zuckerberg today. Just get that out there. So you have to understand, they're the ones that know 90% chance they're going down. In their own internal documents, they say globalism's collapsing 5 years ago. I had analysts and people on 10 years ago saying the EU was going to collapse. Things would devolve back to the Midwest, back to the States, back to Texas, that D.C. was making itself obsolete, and that decisions have been made by people that were actually patriotic to work towards that in the government and in major corporations. So there's not just some monolithic New World Order power structure here. But just like they have the bots working overtime, and they have the TV shows and the movies and the dramas and the fiction shows and the fiction, fake news of CNN posing as reality, telling you that patriots are losing, telling you that world government's imminent, telling you that Christians are bad, telling you that the borders are open to Muslims and it's no big deal. Despite all that, it's a facade. But if we buy into the facade, if we buy into the mirage, if we buy into the delusion, if we buy into the fraud, if we buy into the mind control, they win. And that's all this is. The world's ours if we want it. But it's all a giant mind game. So you notice, going back almost a month ago, I said that, started getting calls about a month ago, and it ended about 2 weeks ago from different people saying Trump's basically going to go. And you better not say anything or do anything during the process of this, because we're your friends and we're just letting you know that's the way the cookie crumbles. And then you start hearing the drums in establishment publications beating for that. Then you have a senior evangelical pastor, Mr. Brown, we had on yesterday, who goes and meets with the president and then goes and meets with senior members of Congress and a senior member. And he says they're floating the idea of a coup in the next month or so, a violent overthrow of Trump, a quick removal, a immobilization of the president. And this is going to happen in the next month or two. Then you see 3 days after that happens, Clapper goes on national TV with Brennan, and Brennan says, we need to not wait for impeachment. We need to suddenly remove him, and it's coming, and that's happening right now. We need America to be bipartisan and not tear itself apart. Then Al Gore, last night, goes on the James Corden show, on the Late Late Show, which shows what a loser he is. Can't even get on the main shows. He's on the Late Late Show with like 500,000 viewers or whatever. And he goes on there, and this con man of NAFTA and GATT, this con man of TPP, this con man of all his garbage and carbon taxes and everything, this con man that said polar bears couldn't swim and that carbon dioxide was going up and that by 2013 we'd be underwater in San Francisco and L.A. while he's buying mansions on the beach. This guy that said the ice caps would be totally melted by 2013 when they both gotten bigger, especially Antarctica. You've got all this happening, and he says, oh, yeah, you ask me about Trump, something big's about to happen, and, things aren't going well. Something big's about to happen. They're all out there running their mouths, and they've got all these followers and all these weaklings and the same ones that thought Hillary was invincible and the same ones that thought they had America by the short hairs and they had their boot on our neck, the same ones that never did anything in their lives but run their mouths, those same cowards who had America in a trance, metaphysically like a vampire that's got you in a trance while it sucks your blood, don't know what to do now that we've got them by the throat. And they're trying to convince themselves and convince us, like Ka in the Jungle Book with his eyes spinning, going, sleep, sleep. Let us sexualize your children. Sleep. Let us open your borders to the Islamists. Sleep. Let us take your guns. Sleep. Almost every liberal I know is out taking firearms classes now. That's the biggest buyers at gun shops from California to Texas. The globalists are in free fall panic. They don't know what to do. Their culture's dying. People don't have confidence in them anymore. They know the social compact has been broken by design and that socialism, collectivism, and crony capitalism delivers us to tyranny. Delivers us to impoverishment. Delivers us to enslavement. And they know. So you've got Al Gore and all the king's horses and all the king's men and Brennan, the Wahhabist Islamicist, the little jihadi, all these people together in their big armies of cowards, all clucking and screaming and running around like a bunch of chickens on PCP with their heads half cut off, running off the edge of a cliff, screaming that they're in some kamikaze jihad against America. And it doesn't matter what you do to Trump. It doesn't matter what you do to me. It doesn't matter as long as people understand we've gone from being way behind to devastating them, and their world government system is collapsing, and their systems where big mega corporations are tax exempt, and then they screw us over and raise our taxes. A microcosm is Zuckerberg came to Kauai, tried to run people off their land. He's hated by everyone all over the island. Just because I've bashed him for years, they love me all over the place. There's a few liberals that don't. And they're all freaked out and don't know what to do. When they see me, it's like they've seen the Antichrist walking down the street. Because people are awake, folks, and they've chosen sides. Things are now polarized. And so they can run around over and over and over and over and over again and cry on their God of big government and collectivism to save them, but he won't deliver them. Just like we used the story of Elijah yesterday when the priests are up there saying, our God will make this mountaintop catch on fire. And then after they try all that, Elijah has them dump a bunch of water on it and just to prove the point, and then the whole thing bursts into fire. These people are failures. They know it. They think by pulling down winners, that will make them winners. And that's never the way it's worked. So they are preparing. And here's the big $64 trillion question. They aren't just preparing in secret now. They aren't just doing little whisper campaigns. They aren't just calling up all the cowards and all the cowards' men and all the cowards' wives and children and dogs and everything else. They are just getting themselves hyped up in this existential deal, even though they've still got the country by the short hairs in many ways, even though they've still got all the major money in real estate. Trump's just taking full power away from them and saying, we're going to have some prosperity and some open bidding, and we're not going to have one-way streets so Hollywood and the anti-Christian crowd could pee on America and feel powerful. Your little counting coup simulation, rubbing America's face in the dirt, rubbing it in the manure, your little ritual of defacing America and vandalizing America and having your little ritual over America, that's coming to an end. And it's that spirit they hate. And so they are now on the warpath. And this is good because it's drawing them all out. And they're now, because they're having to try to get their crews ready for this. They're trying to get people ready to go kill the president and then come after everybody. And so they wanted to all do it in secret and get it all prepared. You and I have all exposed it. So now we're going to force them out of their rat holes. And now they're out of their little rat holes, Brennan and Clapper on TV, organizing their coup with Wolf Blitzer, who goes, but you've got to impeach him. Congress, Blitzer's scared. You can't do that. He knows what he's doing. He's not signing his John Hancock to that. We've got Blitzer and Brennan. You got to kind of give them a little credit finally. They're arrogantly, when they're not saying shut your mouth to the president, watch your mouth, they're up there like little meerkats up on their little sand hill telling everybody, we're going to kill him. We big now. We tough. As if you're going to play that out now with everybody watching. This isn't 1963. This is crazy. Oh, but don't worry. I saw the polls out yesterday in CNN. CNN's done their own polls again, where they sample in these 20-something% more points for Hillary. In states that Trump won, you know, the purple states that were in between red and blue, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? President Trump is underwater. He's down in those states. He was down 5, 10, 15 points on election night in your fake polls. But again, they use that same garbage, the mind control of these fake polls. So let's go ahead and play a clip of Al Gore last night. This is Al Gore last night on TV. Again, just putting it out. Yeah, something bad's about to happen to Trump. He's something bad, gonna fall down and hit his head. Gonna fall down on his little facey. Here it is.
I'm interested to know, and this, of course, would never ever happen. Ever. But let's just say, imagine for a second that you are the vice president today, right now. And President Trump, the door to the Oval Office is open.
You guys could send me video.
And he shouts, "Hey, Al, I'm going to fire out a tweet. Shall I do it?" What do you go in and say?
I would not go in. No. To be serious for a moment, I think the next few months may be a little challenging for our country, and we'd best gird ourselves for it. This thing is not going well.
But
So they make fun of the president. How dare him directly communicate with the American people? And then they talk about how, well, something big's about to happen and things aren't going well. That's right. The same scam artists that worked with Enron to create the carbon taxes and the smart meters and the electric cars and all the rest of it to screw us over, the same guy that makes the money off the carbon taxes, he's going to sit there like a big, bloated, lying con man and float the end of the president.
Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine. If you're interested in healthy thyroid, if you're interested in well-being, if you're interested in having a higher IQ, which this has been linked to, get your powerful Survival Shield X2 at InfoWarsStore.com.